Billionaire tested single dad by saying you got fired. But what he said next changed everything. Sometimes, life can change in just one sentence. One moment you're holding on, doing your best to survive, and the next, everything feels like it's falling apart. This is a story about a single dad who thought he had just lost everything, and a billionaire who decided to test his heart in the most unexpected way. What happened next wasn't about money, power, or status. It was about kindness, the kind that quietly shows who we really are when no one expects it. Before we begin, if you enjoy stories that restore your faith in humanity, take a moment to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. You're watching Heartfelt Moments, where real emotions and meaningful stories come to life. Michael Carter woke up every morning before the sun. At 5 a.m., his alarm rang, and before his feet even touched the floor, his first thought was always the same: his daughter, Lily. Lily was 8 years old. She had messy brown hair, curious eyes, and a smile that could light up the smallest apartment. Since her mother passed away 3 years earlier, Michael had been both mom and dad. Life hadn't been kind to him, but he never let Lily see the struggle. They lived in a small, one-bedroom apartment on the edge of the city. Michael slept on the couch so Lily could have the bedroom. Every night, he told her stories about brave heroes and happy endings, even when he wasn't sure how their own story would turn out. Michael worked as a maintenance supervisor at a large corporate office building downtown. It wasn't a glamorous job, but it paid the bills, barely. He fixed broken lights, cleaned spills, helped coworkers, and stayed late without complaint. His coworkers knew him as the quiet guy who always helped, even when he was exhausted. One rainy Tuesday morning, Michael was wiping water from the lobby floor when a tall man in a dark coat walked in. He didn't look like the usual office workers. He moved slowly, observing everything: the floors, the walls, the people. Michael nodded politely. "Good morning, sir." The man stopped and studied him. "You work here?" "Yes, sir," Michael replied. "Maintenance." The man looked at the wet floor, then at Michael's worn shoes. "Seems like you're struggling to keep up. The place doesn't look perfect." Michael felt his chest tighten. "I'm sorry, sir. It's been raining nonstop. I'll clean it again." The man's expression stayed unreadable. Then he said, flat and cold, "You got fired." The words hit Michael like a punch. I'm sorry?" Michael whispered. "You heard me," the man said. "Pack your things." Michael stood frozen. His mind raced. Rent was due. Lily needed school supplies. Groceries were already stretched thin. He felt his eyes burn, but he forced himself to stay calm. He took a deep breath. "Sir," he said quietly, "if I made a mistake, I understand. But please. I just ask one thing." The man raised an eyebrow. "And what's that?" "Let me finish my shift today," Michael said. "There's a broken heater on the 3rd floor. It gets cold in there. People rely on it." The man stared at him, clearly surprised. "You're worried about a heater, after losing your job?" Michael nodded. "People need it. And I need to do right." There was a long silence. The rain tapped against the glass doors. Then the man smiled. "You didn't get fired," he said. "Not at all." Michael blinked. I don't understand." The man extended his hand. "My name is Richard Hale. I own this building." Michael's heart nearly stopped. Richard Hale was a billionaire. His name was on magazines. News channels talked about him all the time. "I come here sometimes unannounced," Richard continued. "I watch how people act when they think no one important is watching. Kindness under pressure tells me everything." Michael's hands trembled as he shook Richard's hand. "You could have begged," Richard said. "You could have yelled or blamed others. Instead, you worried about someone else's comfort." Michael swallowed hard. "I'm just trying to do my job, sir." Richard looked at him closely. Tell me about your life. They sat in the empty lobby as Michael shared his story, losing his wife, raising Lily alone, working long hours, trying to stay hopeful. He didn't ask for sympathy. He just spoke honestly. When he finished, Richard stood up. Come with me. They went upstairs to a private office. Michael had never been inside before. Richard poured 2 cups of coffee. Michael, he said, this building doesn't need another manager. It needs a leader. Michael looked confused. I want you to run maintenance for all my properties in the city, Richard said. Better pay. Better hours. Health insurance. And flexibility, so you can be there for your daughter. Michael couldn't speak. Tears streamed down his face. I don't know what to say, he finally whispered. Say yes, Richard said gently. Michael nodded. Yes. Thank you. But Richard wasn't done. Also, he added, sliding an envelope across the desk, this covers your rent for the next year. Consider it a fresh start. That night, Michael came home early. Lily looked up from her homework, surprised. Daddy, why are you home? She asked. Michael knelt and hugged her tightly. Because sometimes, he said, smiling through tears, kind people meet other kind people. Months passed. Michael thrived in his new role. He treated his team with respect, always remembering where he came from. And Richard? He gained something money couldn't buy, proof that kindness still existed in a world that often forgets it. The truth is, we never know who's watching. But more importantly, we never know who needs our kindness. So the next time life tests you, remember Michael. Choose compassion. Choose integrity. Choose kindness, because even in your hardest moments, it might just change everything.